Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good people of Edo State. Now, Obaseki and a brother Pedro. Now, see, they carry me the waka as we they talk like this. Now, before we start the process of bringing out all the video that Pedro Obaseki was using to expose Obaseki, that would be my next section of video, not this video. But before then, we all know, like I told you people, the reason why we joined this movement was because when we saw the evil that Obaseki was planning towards the palace, we had no choice than to look for the nearest available party that have Edo at heart. That was why we joined APC, Senator Monday Okpebolo. You see, this story about Obaseki wickedness in Edo. See, we are forgetting to ask one man who can analyze it very well. That is the person of Right Honorable Philip Shaibu, the former deputy governor of Edo State. You see, the fight we are fighting now, this was the main reason Obaseki asked Philip Shaibu to leave the government house, so that he can have access to operate. Nobody can monitor him. But this is a story of another day. But in case you see Right Honorable Philip Shaibu, carry your camera to tell him to explain. Then you will now know that it has been long. Obaseki was aspiring to become the next Oba of Benin. Oh God. You know, if I'm saying it, people say, shut up, you don't know what you are saying, that and that. Do you know that Obazee was planning a coup as immediately he stepped down as a governor? As where we now enter, they will not destabilize the palace. Then before you know, they will not cram Obaseki the next no, make a rest, because sometimes when we remember the time we started this agitation of Obaseki, he's fighting palace, so he's dragging palace to court. So many people say, yeah, you are playing politics. Oh, you want to use it to play politics in election. Now election is over. Now we are not contesting. Now that one say, oh, well, let's use it to no. But this is the truth and the fact. This is the truth and the fact. Now you see Obaseki has started exposing himself. Number one, his brother Pedro Obaseki, after making his speech, he now say Oba Of Benin. He immediately revoke that word and say Edo Of Benin. That means they should stop saying, they are teaching Edos in diaspora to stop saying Oba Of Benin. They should be saying Edo Of Benin. In other words, there is a personal hate they have in the palace. And so many Edo people are there patronizing them. Those days some of you say, what happened in the time of Oborame, it cannot happen in my time. If it happen in my time, everybody will go. It's happening now. It's happening now before your very eye, and you are even sitting with the people. Maybe in the next 100 or 200 years, when your great grandchildren start telling the story of what happened, people start telling the story of how you are conniving with Pedro Obaseki and Obazee to betray the palace. Some people would now come out and say, it cannot happen in our time. It cannot. That was old school. It's happening now. What are you doing about it? What are you doing about it, Pedro? No, if I say it now, say, Cassio, you are lying. No, let me show you the video so that you can see it. Regardez là-bas.
Ashamed to be Obaseki. Godwin is our primus inter pares, and with him is the magnus opus of governance. Oba Of Benin. Oba Of Benin. Oba Of Benin. Of Benin.
Have you seen the video now? Pedro say, it's not about Of Benin again. It's Edo Of Benin. Is that not even enough reason for you to know there's coup towards the palace? Coup towards the palace. Is this not a clear reason to know? After that one, Obaseki planted one guy, whether he's from former, he's a royal anyway. He was confirmed he was a royal blood because of money, and we are told that his forefathers were the chief corporate who wanted to take over the palace, but because in Benin a slave cannot become a king, no, Obaseki is a slave. They wanted to take over the palace. We never knew that incident that happened many years ago is still in their mind to take over the palace. That was why I told you people that Obaseki wanted to become the next Oba of Benin. But a slave cannot be a king. No, see, you read this thing through their body movement. You know, I told you last time that when one idiot, Joseph Bola, came out and was shouting, I go Satile, I go Osasimi, I go Sasimi. When they are doing all these things, they have already opened WhatsApp group. There's a meeting going on in their WhatsApp group. They are trying to invade the Benin kingdom. And they are started building their taproot little by little. That was why you see Obaseki said, by the time we come, if you have not watched the video, maybe in my next video I will interpret that one. I have that video kept. He said, by the time we come, he said, let's see who will stop me not to enter. By that time, they have succeeded in. Let me leave this this analyzation for now. Let me now play a video where the palace has responded to the guy Obaseki paid to come and blackmail the palace. They brought out red book. They brought out red book and say, no, we know history. Obaseki, sit down, let us tell you the history. So that you people not say, Casio, now watch this, settle down, watch this video. Don't be in a hurry. Settle down, watch this video. Regardez là-bas.
I am saying this, I know it's been recorded, and I want anybody who cares to contest it. But for Oba Obaseki, this monarchy would have ended in 1897.
Godwin, no longer said Obaseki, you lied. Now let me prove you wrong, that you are wrong. This is the Benin Red Book, one of the most comprehensive Benin history book to debunk their lies. You see, I want to respond to the lies that was told by someone who claimed to be a descendant of Oba Of Benin, one Osamoyi Nosuyi, who claimed to be a descendant of Uswalele, the son of Oba Of Benin, and the lies that was told by Mr. Obaseki in that meet and greet they did in Birmingham.
My name is Osamoyi Nosuyi Of Benin. I'm the great-grandson of Oba Of Benin, related through Uswalele. There were some other things that happened. I had to support that your great-grandfather, Nori Obaseki, Nori Yase, never did anything wrong to the Benin royal family. I happen to have seen my father, seen my uncles, and no. They never told me that there is that rift or I would did anything wrong. But there's no other avenue. Let me just say it briefly, and I'll ask my questions. Yes, I was served Obaseki, served Ovorare. It was his day. I was served Eweka, and Eweka gave the daughter Ebose as wife to Ago. Do you give your daughter to who is your enemy?
I am with one of the most comprehensive Benin history book to debunk their lies. Okay, so just pay attention to whatever I'll be saying in this video. I will not rush over it. First, Osamoyi Nosuyi, who claimed to be the son or a descendant of Uswalele, who is the son of Ovorame. He claims to be from the royal family. Well, I want to put it on record today that Uswalele truly was the son of Oba Vorame, but he rebelled against Agobasini who was crowned Eweka II. Why did he rebel against Agobasimi? Uswalele said that Agobasimi, being the first or the eldest son to Oba Ovorame, was illegitimate. That is, according to Benin culture, the mother of Agobasimi did not do what the Benin called Ikewu. Ikewu in Benin means the resting of pots. That is, the mother of Agobasimi was not married, through the recognized Benin traditional way. Because the mother was married legitimately, as he may claim, or because the bride price of the mother was first paid before that of Agobasimi's mother, then he rebelled against Agobasimi that he, Usalele, should be crowned the king, and that is the Oba of Benin. The rebel was so intense to the extent that it shook Benin kingdom as at then. So the children and the descendants of Usalele are still nursing that resentment in their mind that they were denied of their inheritance. So that is the bitterness you see in that video. I see no reason why somebody who claimed to be of the royal family could come out and say such a thing. So that resentment is still there. That bitterness against the royal stool is still there because the father was not, or the great grandfather was not allowed, I think Swalele was not allowed to be the Oba of Benin. Because according to the law of primogeniture, which the Benin tradition and custom operates, the eldest son is the heir apparent to the stool. So, as such, Agobasimi, being the eldest son, was crowned as the Oba of Benin. So, they are still nursing that resentment, that anger, that bitterness against the royal palace. So, that is why he came out openly to do that. Well, that aside. And again, he said the Ago did not do anything wrong against Ovorame. And he equally said in that video that if Ago were an enemy to Agobasimi, that is Eweka the first, why did he give the daughter Ebose to Ago to marry?
Eweka gave the daughter Ebose as wife to Ago. Do you give your daughter to who is your enemy?
Well, don't forget that according to Benin custom and tradition, it is the right, or it is designed for the first daughter of every Oba to get married to Ijase. Don't forget that Ago Obaseki was forcefully imposed on Eweka as the Ijase of Benin by the then British government, by the colonial masters. Then Agobasimi has just been crowned as the Oba of Benin. They forcefully made Ago Obaseki. Because he couldn't be made the Oba of Benin, he was forcefully made as the Ijase of Benin. So, automatically, the right for him to marry the first daughter of the Oba of Benin was still there, according to tradition and custom. That is why Eweka II has no choice than for him to obey what the tradition and custom of the Benin people says about that area. So it was given to Ago, not because he deserves it, but because the custom has already made it clear that it is the right of every Ijase to marry the first daughter of every Oba. Just like Ovorame gave the first daughter to Ologbosere, he would have given his first daughter, Ibakavokun, to Ijase Noduobo. Because his father, Adolo, had already given the first daughter to Ijase Noduobo, and Ijase was still alive. Okay? Now, it is not appropriate, or it will not be appropriate for Ijase Noduobo to marry two daughters, or to have two daughters of Oba with him at home. So he couldn't have given his daughter, Ibakavokun, to Ijase Noduobo. What he now did was to give the daughter to the then Ologbosere of Benin. Now, in the case of this, As far as Aho was the Iyase of Benin as at then, the tradition is clear on it that it is Iyase that will marry the first daughter of that reigning Oba, which was Eweka II. So that is clear about that. It's not because they were enemy or not. Now, lastly, watch this.
I'm glad that someone from the royal family is putting the record straight. And I want to say it. And I am saying this, I know it's being recorded, and I want anybody who cares to contest it. But for Oba Obaseki, this monarchy would have ended in 1897.
Godwin no longer said, Obaseki, you lied. Now let me prove you wrong, that you are wrong. This is the Benin Red Book, one of the most comprehensive Benin history book to debunk their lies. Now I want to prove a point that Mr. Godwin Obaseki lied. Let's see what happened between Ovorame, Aho, and Agobasimi, who was crowned as Eweka II. Now, restoration of the monarchy, challenges of Oba Eweka in the new dispensation. Now, this is where the whole thing gets interesting. Please be attentive. Ovioba Rioba, Oviege, Eoriege, Ovien Rioba Vedo, Evano Keswen, Ovien Rioba Vedo. Now, only the child of a king can succeed the king. Only the child of a duke can succeed a duke. A servant cannot succeed his master in Edo. Now, here we go. The long dawn in the life of Prince Agobasimi came to an end in 1914 with the British administration under Governor Frederick Lord Lugard decision to amalgamate the Northern Protectorate and the Southern Protectorate of Nigeria and adopt a uniform administration. The establishment of a uniform administration entailed extending the Northern Protectorate system of indirect rule to Southern Nigeria based on the use of centralized monarchy, which existed in the Benin Kingdom. The planned introduction of indirect rule coincided with the demise of Oba Ovorame Nogbasi in Calabar on 13 January 1914. As the news got to Benin, James Watt immediately started shopping for the successor of the Oba to reduce the indirect rule system. Wow, listen attentively. The British administrative officer saw this as an opportunity to install an Oba who would do their bidding. They were not against the restoration of an Oba in Benin, but they did not want Oba Ovorame. Instead, they wanted a man that they could trust for his loyalty and dedication to the British cause. In 1913, James Watt had been posted to Benin Kingdom, and like his predecessor, he admired the unflinching loyalty and efficiency of Obaseki. These qualities influenced his choice of successor to Oba Ovorame. Wahonia, where Ovorame Obaseki was never interested, in becoming the Oba of Benin. Listen. Oh. And the man who made this qualification was Ago Obaseki. When the British nearly planted as their surrogates, invigorated by the British and his ambition for power, Chief Ago Ogbedoyo, the Obaseki of Benin Kingdom, did not outrightly refuse the offer of the crown of Benin and was ready to accept it if the British could make it happen. And was ready to accept it if the British could make it happen. Some Benin people accuse him of having made a beaded crown, which only the Oba of Benin wears. The pre-restoration struggle for relevance between Prince Agobasimi and Ago Obaseki worsened after Oba Ovораme's demise. As has been noted, the force of tradition in favor of Agobasimi appointment was too strong to be ignored even by the most stubborn or reluctant British officer. It was the tradition of primogeniture, where the first son of the Oba was eligible to ascend the throne. Many of the Uzama chiefs had been silenced by Obaseki. Obaseki rallied around all the Uzamas except Chief Izedome Ero, a grand uncle of Agobasimi, with the district commissioner James Watts and some of the Uzama favoring Ago Obaseki's candidacy. Prince Agobasimi had to write to King George the Fifth of England and the Secretary of State to the colony to assert his claim as the rightful heir to the throne by Benin custom and tradition. He sent several messages to the Oni of Ife to solicit support for his right to the throne, to no avail. Various meetings were held with the chiefs by the British officer to resolve the issue. In one of the meetings with Prince Agobasimi, Obaseki, Eson, Ezomo, and Ero forcefully defended the succession law of Benin Kingdom, and this emboldened Agobasimi to speak out louder that as with the Ezomo and Olia and some other titles, the Oba's crown was hereditary. That is to say, as Ezomo and the Oliha's title are hereditary, so is the title of the Oba hereditary. Having no tradition behind Obaseki's candidature, the British officials were consequently forced to accept Agobasimi as a successor to Oba Ovorame. I hope you guys are listening. Now, on his installation, Prince Agobasimi took the title Oba Eweka II. He was crowned on the 22nd of July 1914. The name of the crown prince came to fulfillment as it implies no citizen contest with the king. It could be said that on his coronation, his destiny was manifested as he chose to reign with the name Eweka II. Now, lastly, this is how Ago Obaseki was smuggled through the back door by the British colonial government, where he was forcefully made the Iyase of Benin. Now, here we go. To compensate their surrogates, Ago Obaseki, the British officials imposed Ago as the Iyase of Benin, the next highest position after the Oba and the district head of Benin City district. In this way, the British were able to smuggle Ago to power through the back door, while the Oba was more of a nominal head. So, make una see am, not be waiting I forge. You can see it. This is the picture of So, you see, so any lies you feel you can tell the world, you can tell. Okay, we will debunk it from the angle of history. We are ready to debunk it historically. So you can see how Ago was made the Iyase that gave him the prerogative to marry the first daughter of Eweka II. Unlike what that small boy said in that video, who called himself, I can't really remember, Osuyi something, where he said that if Ago were an enemy to Eweka, would he have given the first daughter for him to marry? It was his right as the Iyase to marry the first daughter of the Oba. And I believe it was during the reign of Oba Akenzwa that law was repealed. Okay? It was during the reign of Oba Akenzwa II that law was repealed, that the first daughter of the Oba of Benin is now at her disposal to marry whoever she wishes to marry. So, Uswalele died in 1926 or so, during the reign of Oba Eweka II. So, just like I said earlier, we meet and greet, because I don't understand this whole meet and greet thing. Why is it that your meet and greet is centered around the palace? Is centered around Oba of Benin? At the end, you are telling us you are not fighting the palace. But why is it centered around the palace or the Oba of Benin? We adie do. E do na we governor. E o do adie dian. Adie dian. Ni get so ate we ni. Wa ate no wata o do. Ma we me go for wa dian. Wa koyo.
Warania! You see, Obaseki, the Benin Kingdom is ahead of you and your evil people. This is not about government now. You have shown to yourself that you have evil intention to fight the palace. No, anybody you can judge yourself. Judge yourself and see. Tell me, what is Obaseki looking for in government? In fact, I'm coming to drop a lot of exposure, but not now. Maybe later today. Share this video, follow this channel. We'll continue to expose Obaseki. We'll continue to expose him. By the time I come back again, Obaseki was threatening the governor of Edo State. And by the time I come, he can fear son. You Obaseki, you gain like you.